So this is the protection I've given my smaller Trachycarpus species. So we've got the little nanus and the latisectus with some fleece around them and a shelter over the top. I'm expecting the leaves of the latisectus there to be damaged quite a lot. Hopefully with enough protection for the main trunk to survive and leaves to be produced next year. If it's not too cold, then the leaves will be fine as well. The 49 is fine, so that's left as it is. And then underneath here, which is fleece and another shelter, we've got the Gemini sectus, and there's a small princeps there that I've covered because it fits in with the cover for the Gemini sectus. Just put a bit of bubble wrap over these aeoniums that I can't fit in the greenhouse. I'm not expecting them to survive, but I thought I'd just give it a go. And around this palm, this is the unknown palm, bought as a monipur but unlikely to be one. Put some of this foam basically to stop the ground freezing around the base of the trunk. So snow and ice will form on this, hopefully, well, over it, but not underneath, and that's a plan. And this is basically really cheap stuff used for sleeping on if you're camping. The Princess Hybrid I've left uncovered. Let's see how that goes. Got the tiny tequila spear pole last year because it is a small plant, and I've just put a piece of plastic over the top as a rain, snow and ice shelter. And then a bit more heavy duty protection for the Martianus. You've got rubber tyres, you've got fleece, and you've got a piece of polycarbonate over the top. So that's how I've protected. As we go into this part of the garden, like I showed you last week, there's a straw and the covers over these beds. And that's where all the cannas, colocasia, begonias and dahlias are. And because they are essentially raised beds, then the drainage is excellent underneath, so they won't be sat in water in winter. And hopefully the straw will protect them from a deep permeating freeze downwards. Anyway, here we are with some protection across these half-hardy plants. So on the arid bed here, got some very rudimentary shelters, basically to protect against all the snow and the wind and rain coming in from the south, which is the normal direction the wind blows. And from the north we've got the hedges over there to stop all the snow coming down. So that's the agaves covered and the cacti, and then under that big fleece bag is a Brea armata. The Yucca rostrata, I've taken all the leaves out because you need to pull out the leaves between to stop rot setting in. And hopefully the snow won't be lasting long on there when it comes tomorrow. Because I can't really protect this without a huge structure over the top, which I'm not able to do right now. Got the Brea edulis under this one, and then we've got the little Jabutia, tiny little thing under the fleece shelter over there. That's the Trachycarpus aurophilus. That's the Cycad revoluta, so that's got loads of padding in the middle over which I've put this fleece bag. And the leaves I'm expecting probably will die because they're getting quite old now, and it hopefully will survive and grow next year, a fresh set of leaves. Again, got shelters over the Desularian. And then also, we've also got, because these feather palms, this Butia, it's a beautiful example, this one, don't want the snow and ice to stay for ages in the crown of the plant, I've just shoved fleece bags around the top, and then once the snow's finished and the ice, I'll pull this out so that it can breathe and there won't be any ice formed in the crown. And I've done that with a couple of other plants as well. I need to finish off doing it for this other Butia that I've protected the base of. And then going back to my biggest palm, which is the Jabea chilensis. Normally I've had a big roof shelter over it, but it's too big for me to create a big shelter over that now. So instead, hopefully it's bigger enough and hard enough to survive, but I have put some fleece around the centre of the plants, with the green fleece there. And again, like with the bootier, I'll pull this out after the snow's finished, just so there's no ice formed in the centre, which would potentially cause damage, so that will be pulled out after the snow. So that's the protection I've done. In the corner I have put a fleece bag over one of the tree ferns and left the others just with a straw in the centre of the crowns. So that's how we're looking. Already the ground is frozen. So in the middle of the day on Saturday here, the ground is frozen through. Even part of the pond is frozen. So we'll see tomorrow what happens and how much snow we actually get. So I've left these tree ferns completely unprotected apart from the crowns where I've put the straw in the centre, and hopefully that'll be fine. It's not going to get too cold, probably -2, -3, -4 possibly under this snow and ice, but we'll see how cold it gets. And just in the old dilapidated greenhouse I've just shoved the carnivorous plants. They're already frozen through, they're completely, yeah, they're rock hard those. It's only about 1 or 2 degrees air temperature today, but just want to keep the worst of the snow and ice off them. But they are, like I said, frozen through, so we'll see if they survive. There's a little agave in there as well. Sorry if my voice is a bit more mumbly than normal, but I've got a bit of a cold today, so struggling on. There's the Berinda. Left a few plants outside. I've still got round the corner these Hanebas, which to be honest I've still got a bit of bad red spider mite. I'm just going to leave these out. They'll probably die, but I've got tons of plants, so I don't really need all these plants, so they can just be sacrificed to the winter. Alright, bring on the snow. For some reason, even though it's freezing, we have a bee active today. Don't know why it's out, it's very cold to be flying. But there you are, a little bee buzzing away. So I've had a few requests about this jungle hut that I had created this year, how it was made. And it's basically, as you can see, you've got 6 large posts that have been set into the ground in concrete. And these are thick posts to support the weight of the roof and also to give it a nice chunky sturdy appearance. And then it's basically decking over the base, and then to make the sides I've put some thick bamboo. So as you can see, this is thick bamboo posts. I have to screw them, pilot hold first, drill down, and then put these large timber screws through. So these are very wide, 10-15 centimeters wide, and then through to the base and going across into this large post. That's gone all the way around, so I've gone one level, then gone up a little bit, and gone down, up and down, and then this is my entrance on this side. I've protected the decking with some decking stain varnish, and then the internal part of it, so you've got a framework of wooden posts going into the centre, and in the centre there is a round piece of one of these posts that were chopped off to make it level at the top and put in the centre. And these are all screwed together and resting on top of the post here. And on top of that is thick plywood, making it nice and sturdy. And then over the top of that, actually, before you get to the thatch, you've got some shed felt to make it watertight all over the surface. And then you've got the thatch, and these are basically thatched tiles, so there's some rope pinned all the way around in circles around the structure, and then the thatch is pinned, very clipped should I say, it's clipped onto the rope all the way around, and then there's a cone at the top which is screwed into the top to stop it moving. So that's the jungle hut. It's a nice summer vantage point. It's very dry in there, so you can sit out here if it is raining. It's got nice views to that side of the garden, which still look okay in winter, but obviously look much better in summer. And then eventually, once I've done this part of the garden, I'll have good views back as well. So that's the jungle hut, and that's how it's been made. Thatched tiles are pretty expensive, but they do give a really nice finish to the structure. And here's something different flowering in the garden. This is a Fatsia flowering, which looks very similar to the Fatsia flowers up there and the polycarpa flowers there and ivy flowers, because they're all related. Fatsia is a cross between a Fatsia and hedera, which is ivy. So it's like a scrambling climbing plant with larger leaves and ivy, and it's flowering. So potentially this could cross back with the Fatsia or the polycarpa and create some unusual new plants. I'm not going to try to do that myself, but if nature takes its course, that'll be interesting to see. I'll keep the berries and I'll sow them in spring if they do ripen and mature on the plants. It's come to that time of year where I've decided to protect the stems of these Musa basjoo bananas, so I'm going to pack a load of straw right round the bases, get up to high as I can up to here. Not going to do a full cage round this year because I really want to protect the bases, and then we'll grow back strongly anyway next year from the first metre or so. If I wanted to be deadly sure that everything's going to survive, I would do a big wire cage and fill it right with straw and put fleece over the top. But I'm not too concerned about doing that this year. So all I'll do is put straw around the base. I've got these sleeping mats, these foam sleeping mats that I've just got lying about that I'll fill with straw. And then I'll put straw all the way around this area. So I'll continue doing that now. And that's the Musa basjoo, surrounded mainly by straw there. A bit of stem shown on this one, but the other ones are well covered inside there. So should give enough protection if we're down to -5, -6. If I did it a better job of really covering around this area, it would be fine down to about -10 probably, with thick enough straw around the stems. But that should be enough. It definitely keeps the roots frost free. So that should be enough to see them grow next year into much bigger banana plants. So that is the protection done. Now we're just waiting for the snow. I've had some spare straw, so I'll just put it around these smaller palm trees just to give it a bit of extra protection at the roots. Now the front garden plants, the Musa basjoo and the jabea, I'm keeping completely unprotected, and the Canary Island date palm, because I don't want the front garden to have loads of protection on it. So we'll see how they cope with the oncoming snow, which is just starting now. So the plant of the week this week is this hard Chilean fern, the Blechnum chilense. Produces fern leaves, very hard, stiff leaves, and they're pretty glossy. These are evergreen as long as you don't get too cold a temperature, so we'll see how they cope with the snow in the coming days. But what I like about them is they are tough looking, and also they do spread pretty easily. So underneath you can see my main plant is over there, little trunk forming, and it sent out these runners. We've got other plants forming a little distance away. So in time, this whole area around the pond will be covered in these ferns, which gives sort of a primeval, medieval feel. Not medieval, but primeval. Very exotic looking ferns. Not an easy plant to find, but if you do find it, it's well worth getting a couple, as they do spread about and make a nice group of hardy ferns. Well, it's now Sunday and the expected snow hasn't come. It was a very cold morning, 0 degrees. Everything's frozen on the ground, but as you can see, there's no snow at all. There's no frost on any of the plants either. That was a bit of an anticlimax, but at least we protected all the plants in the garden. And the weather for the next week ahead is remaining really cold, down to freezing. So we could see frost pretty much every morning, and the ground may remain frozen all week as well up here. But it will get up to 3 or 4 degrees some days, up to 5. But it will remain freezing at the ground level, even if the air temperature does get up to 3 or 4 degrees. But we're not seeing any other snow events, I don't think, or non-snow events in this case, for the next few days at least. So nothing too concerning as far as the plants that are outside in the garden. Just carry on. Join me next week for another Yorkshire Kris Weekly. Thanks for watching.